Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Behold the power of magnetism. What would your finishing maneuver be called?
The circumcision.
Follow the process.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Raw and give you the wrestling news of the week all over the wrestling world. My name, if you're asking, is Turbo Tony. We're here with the Rattlesnake, the Bionic Redneck, Stone Cold Matt Austin. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! No?
I like.
You like it, yeah. I feel like I'm back in form when it comes to these introductions for you now. So, how are you doing there, Matt?
Yeah, can't complain at all.
Yeah.
Tony, and yourself?
It's been interesting this week, shall we say, in the wrestling world. Anyway, I've been fine. It wasn't exactly great entertainment we got this week, but we'll go into that obviously.
Hey, but it could always be $9.99.
Yes, yeah. You don't have to pay $9.99 for this podcast. It comes free. Unless, if we do decide to charge you, maybe it will be $9.99. Don't know. Maybe $9.99? No?
I think it'd be wrong if we didn't do $9.99.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah. You guys tell us what's wrong with $9.99. Okay? Yes, plenty of $9.99 references throughout this podcast, as you can imagine, but not nearly as much as Triple H managed to fit into his 5-minute promo.
It's been Triple H, the fuck off King.
Yeah, and
King was literally I sort of flicked through my notes and it's literally just fuck off King, fuck off King, fuck off King.
That fake smile gets faker and more smiley every day of King. Oh, he's
just terrible.
Oh dear. Anyway, let's get into our news first. For anyone that hasn't caught us before, what we do, as I said there before, is we review every segment of Raw. We give you the wrestling news. We also have the new additions segments to the podcast that you guys fucking loved last week. So that went down better than we could have expected. Thank you guys. We also hit the 70 subscriber mark. We are getting almost we're actually getting more views than we have subscribers in all our videos, so thank you guys for supporting us. Really means a lot. But let's just not go any further. So let's tell you what we've got on the show this week. We've got our news, a little bit of TNA review, because I have been skimping on that the last couple of weeks, and the fail of the week, which you guys did love last week. We've got that again this week, and it is a beauty of a fail of the week. And we do have our Superstar Spotlight, which is, funny enough, on Alberto Del Rio, which is actually who we're going to start off our podcast talking about. It's the big news this week. Alberto Del Rio officially has been released from WWE. His contract has been terminated. This is following an altercation with a WWE.com worker. This news literally dropped less than maybe 4 hours.
Well, it's apparently the social media manager or something I read. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, that seems very odd for even those people to be kind of mincing with each other, mincing words.
Well, I managed to catch something, and I don't I'll take it on face value because it was actually apparently him going on a racist, the social media manager was making a racial slur about it's Del Rio's job to clean his plate sort of thing. I was just like, oh, okay.
It's a little bit sketchy. That's, as you say, that's what the word is around. Before we know, let's go with the facts of what happened.
Yeah.
Something was said, Del Rio slapped the guy. So he did physically put his hands and attack one of the workers, okay?
Yeah.
No matter if the word has been racist, to me that's still what Del Rio did was wrong. Yeah, it's still unprofessional. What the first thing he has to go and do is tell whoever's in charge a racial slur has been aimed towards me by so-so. That's the appropriate way to go and deal around it. Yeah, maybe some people say, wrestlers deal with things differently. If something's bad said to them, they have to get physical about it. Well, no, not to people that aren't other wrestlers. It goes under different practice.
Yeah.
So for people that have been defending Del Rio, you're wrong. Categorically, you just can't do that and get away with it. You will get fired, and WWE is looking for any reason whatsoever to fire you at the moment. That's
it.
That's the blunt of it. They're looking for a reason to fire you, and a lot of other people would be a lot nervous about this. In fact, there was another person we're covering a little bit that got fired who did nothing. So there you go. You don't have to do anything to get terminated, apparently. But
that's it. You can do your job and still lose your job.
So Del Rio Apparently, after his termination, TNA were apparently scrambling to get his number. I've got bad news for TNA. They go, bad news. I'm missing bad news, Barry. I had to drop that in there.
Yeah,
Just a
I'd
little
sort
bit.
of say I'll agree with
Yeah,
it. I'm missing him as well.
that's it. Bad news for TNA is they can't sign him for 90 days. Even further bad news, after 90 days, I very much doubt you have the money to sign the guy. That is the point. Like, he's not going to go for cheap. If you think that he's going to come to you for cheap, that's incorrect. He can go to Mexico and make just as much money as he can do in WWE, and that's not joke. He was making good money before he came to WWE. There's no difference there. The only thing maybe he would have got more in WWE, maybe if he had stayed a face for longer, is maybe more merchandising around the American public. But he's still making. He was in Mexico. He's making a shit ton over there, and he was a face all the time. Basically,
He's just making a shit ton for just being him.
yeah, exactly. He comes from a very established wrestling family in Mexico, so he'll just go back to Mexico and make money there. There's no issue for Del Rio. He won't care that he's been released. He can go back to Mexico now and wrestle there.
That's it.
Won't have any problems for the guy.
He can make as much money and wrestling less.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now we're also going to do our superstar spotlight on this guy. We're going to go through his career. He was only with WWE, and funny enough, I said this to Matt just as we started recording, for only 3 years. That's quite shocking, really, you think, you know. He was only there for 3 years, and he got a lot of accomplishments, but there is some drawbacks to Del Rio, and we're going to go over them and look over his career. But this is shocking. It really is that. I mean, at the end of the day, Del Rio must have known that he would have get fired the minute he put his hands on a worker. It's just the way it is. It's the way things are now. And you, like I said, you don't have to have a reason to get fired from WWE, but he gave them a reason. They were willing to take it and get that guy off the books.
Especially the guy when it was sort of commonly known that once his contract was done, he'd leave anyway.
Yeah, we've been
so
saying
it's like you've got no interest in sticking around. Let's just call this a day, shall we?
Yeah. When you look at that, me and Matt have been saying probably for the last 10 episodes that this guy ain't sticking around. He's gonna go, and this is the way it goes. I firmly believe if he hadn't have done this, he'd be leaving soon anyway. So it doesn't change a lot of stuff. It's an interesting news story, and there's been a lot of people, like I said, trying to defend Del Rio for I'll do that with racist. Well, there's certain ways that you go around it, you know. That you can't just openly slap someone. You go through the proper channels, you be professional, and then you'll come out looking better for it. But he didn't, and he paid the price. Now, obviously, I hope WWE do investigate, and if this guy is shouting out racist stuff, then maybe there's the hammer to come down on him. But that won't happen for a while. That has to be investigated. So, anyway, to a sadder story, a much sadder story. This actually got me a lot harder than I thought it would. The WWE's 20-year veteran timekeeper has been released from the company.
Yeah.
Simply for the fact they didn't need him. And you may know him from the guys that maybe don't go deep into the who works, backstage and stuff like that. He's the guy who would always throw Austin his beers during the countless drunken sessions that Austin would have in the ring. He's gone. Austin posted up on Twitter. He was very, very sad to hear about it. JR said he was very disappointed. I can understand. Yeah. And it's a shame when you've got someone who's got themselves like 20 years embedded into that company, doing that role, and suddenly they're gone.
That's it.
Apparently that release, more than the Del Rio release, has got people worrying because this guy did nothing wrong. Nothing. At all. They just didn't need him anymore.
And a guy who's been in the company for 20 years. So sort of people who've only been there 20 months can sort of start thinking, if he's gone.
Exactly, yeah. I would be worried anyone backstage, apart from if you're a very select few, i.e. Orton, Cena, Roman Reigns, some of the higher main event guys, the rising stars. Anyone else, I would be worried. I really would be. And I do count the likes of the New Nation in that list because they weren't even on Raw this week. They could be dropped very easily if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Also,
I'd be happy to see one of them dropped.
Yeah, I wouldn't really care, to be honest. They haven't done that much. But the senior VP of creative was also let go. A lot of people were just saying, "Oh, well, we don't really mind any creative isn't good at the best of times," so they didn't really care. The timekeeper one is the one that hit a little bit hard at the home, and WWE getting ruthless. They are getting ruthless aggression era in terms of their staff. I would be very careful and do what JTG, the wise man, says: do not pick up your phone. I think that's probably the best thing.
That's it.
Vince Russo. Oh, Vince Russo. What
are we going to do with Russo?
Well, we all know that he essentially fucked up TNA. There we are. There's that. He's having. He got released from TNA. We obviously don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to take the guy on his word. But Vince Russo submitted a very lengthy statement, basically apologising for his actions, and yet again defending his actions, which he always does. It's the thing that annoys me about Russo. He just can't. He's not very good at taking the blame. He's not.
It's
very
wrong.
Good at,
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
This is why it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, you drove a company into the ground.
Yeah.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Yeah. He can't admit when he's made mistakes, and he defends them for years and years and years and years and years, and defends them more frivolously, and that's what gets annoyed me. I couldn't care less. I read about the first paragraph. I knew where it was going. I stopped. I don't want to hear from Vince Russo anymore. There's nothing that I know that's going to come out of his mouth that I don't know is true.
It's not going to be just complete bullshit.
Why would I want to spend time reading shit that comes, out of Vince Russo's Twitter and shit like that? I haven't ever followed the guy. I never will. But hopefully this just draws a line. I don't want to be talking about this absolute scumbag any further, because he is like he lies to himself. That's the worst crime of all. To lie to yourself. That's pretty impressive in terms of lying. Anyway,
that's it. He sort of almost just tell himself a lie so much that he believes himself to be true.
Yeah, exactly. And it's magnificent for us to watch, and it's great for us podcasters to talk about. And gives us a little bit of news, but it's not news I want to be talking about, really. Giving this guy time on our show, nah. Unless he does something spectacular, he always does just idiotic stuff. So I'm sure he'll find himself back on the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast in the future, and we'll have to talk about more idiotic stuff. Hey, we could probably start a segment. Idiot stuff that Russo's done. I'm sure we can fit that in somewhere. He'd probably be the reason behind a lot of the fail of the weeks that we're going to be talking about going forward the next couple of weeks.
Oh, definitely coming along, yeah.
Oh, Russo, your fail library, it's very full, very full. Moving on. This is why one of the reasons why I dislike wrestling promoters. Okay, just in general. Because some of them could be dodgy, and this goes to the very top. I mean, we're talking about wrestling promoters. I'm talking about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon now, in terms of this news story. You may have heard about it. They decided to take a pot shot at UFC. Okay. Did you catch this at all, Matt?
I didn't catch this at all.
Yeah,
no.
I caught this out of the corner of my eye, and the reason being because I'm getting more into UFC. Do enjoy it. It's good, legitimate sport. I get into the kind of the physicality of it. It's good stuff. The things that they stating against UFC is that they're not the same demographic. To a degree, I kind of agree with them, but to a degree, I disagree with them. They said, this is the thing that irked me. They said that WWE's entertainment value is always a sure thing. That every Raw, you know exactly that you're going to get great matches, great storylines. But with UFC, because it's a legitimate sport, it's not entertainment, their fights might end like 15 seconds into the match, and you might not get any fight at all. Sounds fair, doesn't it?
That's a genuine argument.
Yeah, genuine argument. So yeah, on paper that sounds right, but I think that maybe they should look at their own shows filled with 3-minute matches and really crappy storylines before they start taking pot shots at UFC. Personally,
yeah,
there's a lot to fix in their show before they start throwing shots at a company that really has been steadily rising, while WWE has been having a lot of issues at the moment. $9.99, shall we say? They got $9.99 problems, and UFC ain't one of them. So
that's it. There
we go. I just think it's really stupid. Like, why would you start, popping shots at UFC? UFC are doing fine. They really are. They. It's almost like if TNA were to start referencing WWE, it feels that way a little bit. Even though they're two different things, UFC and WWE. I don't get why they did it. They're, I just don't understand. Just idiotic promoter talk. Promoter talk. Wrestling promoters have done this since the dawn of time. They've bigged up their stars. They've talked smack about other companies that they feel rivaled about. Vince McMahon did that to the extreme. And we're talking about Monday Night Wars stuff. It's not exactly the first time we've heard about promoters trying to big up their own and trying to slam down others. But it just seemed UFC was a bit of an odd company really to be taking shots at, because I find UFC is always much better organised as a company than WWE is. But still, any UFC fans, leave a comment. We'd love to hear about what you think about UFC and stuff like that, and whether do you think UFC and WWE have the same audience, Matt, or am I think it merges.
I think they do.
But
I think there's like a grey area between the two fan bases. Like, you've got the kids who are just like, yeah, Cena, and they don't care so much. But then you've got the older generation of fans who, I think will watch UFC.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm getting into UFC more and more.
Yeah.
I've always kept a fleeting interest in UFC. I've never disliked it. I think the reason why I like it more and more now is because I'm starting to realise the intricacies of it. When I was younger, I used to think, oh, but they're just laying on each other for 6 minutes. It's not really that fun. But when you look at it now, I know but actually he's trying to pivot his body and he's trying to get the advantage here so he can get ground and pound. You just learn more about it and you get more into it. That's the reason why I like UFC anyway. And I watched the Conor McGregor fight here in Ireland, which just was mental, man. I haven't seen a wrestling fan response that big for a long time, and in UFC they got it just because they had a hometown hero. So there you go. TNA this week. This hashtag it happened nonsense is going around this week. I say nonsense. It was a hot segment. I've been telling you, Matt, throughout this whole time that Bully Ray's been on a mission all these months to put Dixie Carter through a table. You've been hearing me saying that. It happened this week. The infamous table segment happened on this show. I caught the highlights of this show. I didn't catch all of it. I caught Samoa Joe, who captured the X Division title and then didn't look as if he was quite happy with it at all. I guess because at that point in his career, and I kind of agree, he would be expecting to be challenging for the heavyweight title. Not going back to the X Division belt. That's what I would say. But still, the fans were into it. They were all cheering for Joe. Fair play. And it was obviously they're on the road now, so they're in a they've got a full packed stadium. So it's just healthy watching TNA now because of all the issues aren't as apparent. There's only so many times you can watch a TNA show and realize that half the arena is empty. It wears on you as a watcher of the show. It's hard to get into it, but it happened here. Dixie Carter was powerbombed off the top rope, almost Mae Young style, through a table by Bully Ray.
I have seen the video.
Yeah. Now Dixie Carter legit has broken her back. She broke. When I say that, it sounds more savage than it is. She broke 2 small bones in her back in this segment. Even though when you watch it, you can tell she hardly went through the table. It was actually Bully Ray that sat through the table. He was trying very hard to safeguard her through it.
Yeah.
I thought he did very well, personally, Bully Ray. I don't think there's anything more he could have done to make that spot safer for Dixie. I mean, she is a 50-year-old woman, and not every woman is as durable as Mae Young, shall we say. Certainly not Dixie Carter. So it was a hot segment, and hopefully, what they were saying on commentary is that this writes Dixie off of television going forward. And if that's the case, I'm all for it. I think Dixie as a character is played out. I don't think you can get anything more from her. I think when fans see her on TV, they're reminded of all the horrible segments and horrible stuff that's happened in the show beforehand. May as well just get, she doesn't have to be around. Find a new authority figure and hopefully don't turn them heel within 6 weeks.
That's it.
So there we are. In fact, there was a podcaster who was in the audience, Solomonster, who is probably the only wrestling podcast that I genuinely always listen to week in, week out, and he was there at the show. And so there you go. You can see him on there if you're fans of that as well. And whenever I tweet him, he's always very nice to us. So there you are. That's good. Yeah, that's pretty much the 2 big things, really, from TNA this week. I did catch the highlights for you guys, and I'm going to try and put more into it. The thing is about with TNA as well, in terms of the news, is that there's still no update on Spike. No update at all, no news, so they're still in the same boat as they are. No TV contract is made by them. But if TNA thought that they didn't have this is what makes me think they might re-sign with Spike, maybe for a lower amount, is because if they hadn't any sort of thoughts or any sort of potential of signing a deal with Spike in the future, I would see they probably would have moved around and looked at other networks by now. And that I don't think that's happened. So that's the news on that. One thing, though, is that executives are very worried that WWE may be moving SmackDown to Thursday nights, which is their time slot. And if that happens, that is going to be harsh for TNA. I don't see them outdoing SmackDown. SmackDown's their second show, WWE.
Yeah, I mean, SmackDown's definitely cemented in sort of just because, I mean, in the rating style of things, you've got Raw, you have SmackDown, then you have TNA.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, sometimes you say that though. NXT sometimes outdid TNA in the ratings when they were still on TV. But carry on, yeah.
That's exactly it, really. I mean, just to sort of take one of the other shows that are sort of stealing the ratings or beating them, and then suddenly just like, oh, it's on the same night as us. This could be problematic.
Yeah, it would be problems for TNA. It seems like in the ring and actually on the shows, TNA are kind of fixing their shit up, but you can't go through the crap that they put on TV and not have massive repercussions for it. This is the biggest advertisement ever. If you do 4 weeks of really bad television, you're going to pay the price, and they still are paying the price from that. It really was poor, and I don't want to keep talking. Every week I'm like, I don't want to talk about this 4 weeks again, but it's because it's relevant. This is the reason why they're having issues, TNA at the moment. But their shows,
it's true,
yeah, their shows are better. They have a legitimate heel powerhouse champion who is beating people clean. They've got they're finalising the storylines, so people have got sour taste in their mouths, and I will give it props. While they dragged this table thing out with Dixie far too long, at very least the ending was hot. You can't say anything else. That crowd were very happy to see her go through a table, and they were chanting. You know, it was a feel good moment for a 50-year-old woman to get powerbombed through a table.
I bet.
But the Mae Young one still tops that for me, just because it's Mae Young. Yeah, that's what it says. But props on Dixie. She was willing to do it, but that's the reason why she doesn't take bumps, because she's a 50-year-old woman who isn't a wrestler, and she did break her back. So there we are. So yeah, TNA. My thing with TNA, just keep delivering the goods in the ring and on your shows, and just hope that the rest sorts it out. Just do that. Make that your creed. Don't panic. Just continue on the track that you're going. You're improving, and that's a good thing. Our fail of the week, man. I know you're excited for this.
I see it up in eagerly.
I can tell you're eagerly anticipating the fail of the week. I think it's going to become one of our best segments, and we're only in the second week of it. The fail of the week this week. We look back at the hilarious mess up that is the greatest fuck up of a debut of all time. The Shockmaster. Yes. We look back at the Shockmaster. If you don't know who the Shockmaster is, pause this podcast and just type in Shockmaster debuts, and it'll come up on YouTube. Watch and laugh your tits off. It is absolutely hilarious. So I'm gonna paint the picture for our fans here that maybe don't know too much about it, or maybe you do and you just want me to paint the picture in your mind. So you've got the people like Sting, David Boy Richards, and they're talking against Sid Vicious and guys like, you know, the faces against the heels. And Sting says to these guys, you know, after this big debate on this talk show variant, and they've got commentators and stuff like that, you know, commentating over it and stuff like that. And Sting says to him, he looks at the heel group dead in their eyes, and he says, "We've got a secret weapon. We've got a guy who will shock the wrestling world." A big explosion goes off. This like figure kind of comes out of a wall. And when I say comes out of a wall, he trips over.
He falls through the wall.
He falls dead on his face, and this mask, which is supposed to be his, like, you know, this mask is supposed to keep his mystery, his allure, you know, that this big hulking guy falls off, clambers to the floor. So this guy's mask has come off. It literally is the funniest. It's like something you'd see out of slapstick comedy, you know, segment. They couldn't if they were going for comedy instead of what they were going for, they couldn't have done it better. They really couldn't. It was fantastic. And so yeah, he gets up, he puts his mask back on. You realise that his mask is like a bedazzled shock trooper from Star Wars mask, which is just ridiculous in itself.
Oh, it's just terrible.
And by then, all mystery, any sort of badassness that the Shockmaster could have had, it was gone. It was completely destroyed. Literally mere seconds into this guy stepping out. Now the story around this, and you've got to watch it, is absolutely hilarious. The story about this is that they practiced the thing earlier on, and apparently a board was put where the Shockmaster had walked through before, so he didn't notice. He just tripped over, and you know, went off from there. And yeah, the whole gimmick was destroyed. The Shockmaster didn't live very long after this, as you can imagine. For a big monster heel to fall flat on his face.
Literally.
Not big monster heel, he's a big monster face, but a big monster character. Yeah, as I said, if it was a comedy segment, it couldn't have gone better. But it wasn't, so it's just absolutely fantastic.
It was gold.
One thing you can find on YouTube, which is actually quite funny, you can watch a Legends Roundtable in which Dusty Rhodes actually talks about that, because he was obviously part of that as well. And man, the guy can barely hold in his laughter.
Who was the Shockmaster?
Oh, I can't remember his name. He wasn't anyone huge or anything.
No.
He had a lot of repackaged gimmicks, Shockmaster being one of them, and there we are. That was the end of the Shockmaster. Mere seconds into his debut. And yet again on WCW. WCW has loads of fails for us to get through. The Shockmaster. That's we had to cover the classics, guys. We had to cover the classics. You can't get much better than
That's true.
this. So we move on to our Raw review. We review every segment of Raw. This Raw was horrendous. I'm going to say outright, it was not a good Raw. Last week we said that last week's Raw was good for a mid-monther. This is also a mid-monther Raw. This is exactly what we're talking about. What we usually get on a mid-monther Raw. It was not. Yeah. It
terrifying.
It continually got worse to the point that the words 9.99 are now embedded into my skull. We're going to talk a lot of stuff about their plugging of the network, but if you, as I said, we caught before, we go in
9.99.
9.99. There you are. Just comment. I tell you what, guys. Just comment in our comment section. Just say 9.99. Just do it.
That's all we want.
And hopefully, give us a like on our video so we get 999 likes. I know it's quite pushing a little bit, but it'll be fun. Or maybe 99 likes and 9 dislikes. Maybe? Can we get that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As I said earlier, we need or just work out some average so it's 9.99.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, prior to doing this podcast, of doing a bit where when we get across the bit of 9.99 in the podcast, I was going to do the math, that we just both say 9.99 just randomly, just to freak people out. But that seems incredibly hard to get working.
That was the worst part, especially considering we had that point in Raw, and it was just maybe if it's 10 hours and 8 seconds, because then it'll be 9.99 seconds. Fucking.
Oh god, yeah, there was a lot of that. So the birthing ground of said 9.99ness was the University of Texas this week. That's where Raw emanated from. They've been doing the Texan rounds, WWE, the last couple of weeks. They were in Houston last week. They're in the University of Texas this week. This show, as we said, is the absolute apex of WWE Network references. No less than 6 references were made of the network within the first segment. There was 41 times the network was referenced, and that doesn't count the opening segment.
47 times in total.
No, that's I can't say for sure, but I can guarantee that at least very least 6 of those network segments were at the start of the show.
Triple H.
But 41 times without any of the jokes that they said about the 9.99. This is without the 9.99 jokes that the network was referenced. 41 times.
And that's without the jokes.
Yeah. There's actually a video. I know I've been saying this a lot.
I don't think I'm ever going to buy anything that's 9.99 again.
It's burned, I'm
going to go up to someone in a supermarket, I refuse to pay 9.99 for this. Just discount it. Yeah. 2p. Add 2p.
Yeah,
I will pay more for this, so it's not 9.99.
There's a video online which references all the times the words WWE Network was made during this week's Raw. I would highly recommend. It is it opens your eyes even more so to the fact, man, they want this network to work. I label this, however, the week that the WWE Network went heel. That's what I say anyway. I think personally, this is a challenge that I want creative to do. Okay, going forward, we haven't even gotten to the opening segment yet. We're still talking. It's awesome. I think the creative teams should set themselves a challenge, right? They should write an episode of Raw where they don't plug the network at all, they don't plug social media, and all of the following catchphrases cannot be used. Raw rolls on, bitch, and moneymaker. There we go, that's an interesting challenge for them, and I think that...
I don't think they can cope.
I don't think they would cope. I can't remember. I was trying to think on the top of my head a lot of the other stuff that they always come out on Raw, and I thought that would be quite an interesting. Just do it, guys. Go on.
I think the place would genuinely just collapse under the weight of itself.
Cole wouldn't have anything to say.
That's it. Cole would just be like, "Say something, Cole."
Good stuff. Okay, so we're getting to the actual show now. All right. So the entire authority was here to kick off Raw this week. And they wanted to let you guys know that the network costs $9.99.
Yep.
And they essentially just did an overview of the card for SummerSlam. It was essentially the entire promo from Triple H was just saying $9.99 over and over and over again, and that was what the network costs. Yeah, the crowd were chanting $9.99. Ironically, I think is probably the best way to do it. But it makes me wonder why they have a heel personality plugging the network in such a blatantly annoying manner. Where in creative did they think that was a good idea? To have that's why I say that the network went heel, because the heel was plugging it. It got annoying, and they knew it was going to get annoying. They must have known. Come on,
The thing is, I think it's because Triple H is one to check social media more regularly.
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously last week we had the whole, me and my friend Mark, we're gonna tweet about how we're unhappy with everything. So I think he's more prone to sort of check social media and go, they're thinking we're going a bit overboard with the $9.99.
Yeah.
With the WWE Network. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's up the ante.
See, that works for people like us, and we get it. I mean, we're going to buy the network anyway.
Yeah.
But because it's not $9.99 in England, so we can get away with it.
Whenever we fucking get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you. For me, it just seems odd. Like, the general wrestling fan will look at this and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making such a fuss about this? And I made a reference later on about the network, is that the fact is, I don't think WWE realised that it's not the fact we don't know how cheap it is why people aren't buying it. I think the main reason people aren't buying it is because you're not putting up enough original television. Now, I can't say that for sure because I haven't got the network yet. We're over here in Europe, we don't have it. We're getting it soon. Even though they
later than everyone else.
Why are we getting it later? It was the 1st of October, wasn't it?
No. There's 170 countries are getting it August 12th or something like that.
Oh, wow.
We don't get it until October.
Okay.
It's weird. All these places like Canada and Australia, and it's and the UK. No. And the UK, no, and it's and Africa and China, and the UK, and for all our fans in the UK, coming October 1st.
Yeah.
Why?
It turned heel on you, Matt. I'm telling you, man. The network's heel. The network's heel.
Why so much later?
I just don't know. One thing I would think, just coming from a technological background, I think that knowing about networks and stuff like that is because larger the area in terms of what they think their prospective audience is going to be, the more back work they need to do.
I understand the whole network side of things, but I'm just yeah, but they don't do Raw live from Melbourne.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
they do Raw live from London.
You would think that
Birmingham.
You would think that because the UK is where the majority of their buyers are going to be from in terms of the international circuit, they would put more effort into the UK. I do agree with you, and it does feel like we're getting shafted a bit. Even though I'm here in Ireland, and apparently they think Ireland is part of the UK. There's a fail for you of the week because that's not the case. So,
part of Ireland's the UK.
Well, yeah, part of. You try telling anyone that I live with.
All right, go get Stacey.
No, because
I will argue it.
She'll argue you down, man. We'll have to do a Let's Talk More Wrestling, just be a political show, nothing to do with wrestling
of the fact that Ireland is the UK.
It's not the UK. It's not the UK. Northern Ireland is part of the UK, for people that are wondering, but Ireland isn't. Anyway,
if you start sounding like one of them.
Yeah, no, I'm just stating the facts, play by play. So yeah, it's not the fact that it's $9.99 that we don't have to have that part blatantly done to us. People know it's $9.99. People know it's available. I think that maybe you should make some of the more programming more enticing. I don't think they're doing that. They're not showing us enough of their original programming. And a lot of the stuff to fans like myself, and they're putting stuff like the Monday Night Wars, the CM Punk stuff. I've seen all that. Give me more original stuff that I can't see anywhere else because they don't know the meaning of exclusive. And I'm going to say that a little bit later.
Or just you've got the new Paul Heyman DVD coming out.
Yeah.
Show that for a little bit.
Yeah, make that be like your marquee thing over the next week or something, the Paul Heyman DVD.
For the next week you can watch it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Why not do that? It seems very odd to me. Anyway, Orton takes the mic here and he says what he did to Reigns last week is just the beginning, and this obviously you say Reigns enough and he will appear like Beetlejuice.
That's it.
He was quite funny here. As he's walking down, he fights off a rampaging hugger. We've got a hugger, ladies and gentlemen, from the crowd. Now, you can only expect so many ovaries to explode from this guy before at least one girl tries to get a hand on the goodies. Reigns, you brought it on yourself, man. All right? Anyway, the crowd are uber hot for Reigns here. They were very hot for him. In fact, he's still getting good responses, Reigns. He's doing okay.
In fact, I think Reigns was the only person this place was hot for.
Yes, I'd say so.
Because this was such a quiet crowd.
Yeah, they which is weird because Texan crowds are normally very good, but no, not so much. He says that he won't beat up Orton for $9.99 tonight. He'll do it for free. which is a good little play, I guess. But Triple H, he's feeling in troll mode. Triple H, who decides, no, you're gonna have a match with Kane, because that's the way it is.
No, I don't understand. Like, obviously, it was setting up for the match, but why have Kane drop the corporate Kane gimmick if he's going to turn up with the Authority when they're all suited and booted as well?
Yeah, I don't understand. Obviously, we're going to go to that later, the section with Kane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit drawn out. But anyway, when they announced it was going to be a last man standing match, that spiced it up a bit. It may be something
that piqued my interest, and then I actually saw the match.
Yeah, it wasn't a great match, shall we say. But this opening segment just it makes me shake my head at WWE. They really want this network to work by all means. Hey,
I like Triple Troll.
Triple Troll, yeah. Sometimes he gets a little bit unbearable. I think this week was one of those weeks. But by the way, I just want to let you guys know that the network is $9.99. Just let you guys know that. So as we said, that match started off the show, Kane against Reigns. It wasn't horrendous. It just doesn't come up on the echelon of last man standing matches that maybe we've watched.
I think it didn't help the fact that the ref didn't even count when Kane was down.
the commentators were losing their shit, weren't they? And rightly so. That referee kind of got it a bit wrong.
It's just like he's been down for 10.
Yeah.
And it's like you haven't even said one.
And you can tell they're all very awkward, and they just said, okay, yeah, we have to at least reference this because it looks so awkward. That was the awkward moment on commentary when they were kind of getting to grips with the fact the referee wasn't doing anything.
That's it.
At very least, they got the extreme in this match. They bashed each other around a little bit. One thing I did notice
involved and
yeah, like the steel steps and stuff like that.
Ladder, no, not ladder. Table,
yeah. So. One thing I noticed with this, and I should have noticed earlier before, when Reigns gets ready for a Superman punch and he punches the ground, he's going to fracture one of his knuckles one day doing that.
Because that's why Orton doesn't do it anymore, yeah. I keep thinking that. I was like, Orton? He's going to fracture his knuckle eventually. I mean, Orton used to do his whole little sort of like punching into the ground when he was riling himself up, and now he put some force into that sort of one little punch into the ground. It's like, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, one of these days.
Surely, that's just like, kink. Left-handed Superman punch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to happen. Everyone was saying that to Orton, that he's going to fracture something, and he kept doing it, and he did actually fracture something in his arm. I just get the feeling one of these days we're going to get a story about Reigns shattering his knuckle.
I think it's not so bad, because Reigns only does it once, rather than, like, proper beats into the floor.
Yeah, like Orton would downright molest the mat before he did his finisher. It's been a long time since Orton done that, and there's no point for him doing it again. You don't want to get injured, no matter how good it was to see this guy freaking out to do his finisher, but if you're going to get injured doing it, there's no point. So one of the things here, they're still building up Reigns quite well. He survives a chokeslam through the table, and then finishes with a spear that I thought was pretty good looking. I thought it almost sent Kane into a different dimension.
It was a very nice spear.
I will give him that. Kane is only around to enhance these new guys.
I would not put Reigns as now as the new king of spear.
Yeah, I very much doubt.
Anymore.
I very much doubt that anyone on the roster is going to be using that spear as prevalent while Reigns is around. I mean, I know
Edge.
Yeah.
Christian tried.
Yeah, there wasn't.
And now we got Reigns, so no one's using the spear over Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. I mean, for a while, a lot of people were using the spear. I think Caitlyn, Edge, Big Show, they were all using the spear. Obviously, none of them are on the show. In fact, 2 of them are gone from WWE. But I just don't see anyone getting that spear again for a while because why would you do it? I just think it has to be Reigns' move. And he does it well. He makes it look good, so that's fair play.
That's it.
But as I said, Kane is around to enhance these new talents, so I don't have too much problem with Reigns surviving that table spot. But it does, in turn, kill any credibility that Kane had as a competitor for now. Because let's face it, I mean, Kane barely wins any matches as it is anyway. He's been losing tons of matches, and obviously a segment later on alludes to this a little bit more. There's a promo package for Lesnar versus Cena, because none of them were on the show this week. I do enjoy with this. This is a really good promo package, by the way, even though they aired it twice throughout the show for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get that.
That Lesnar, whenever he talks about these sort of matches and these promos, he talks about it with the same legitimacy as he would do a UFC fight. I enjoy that. I like that.
I think it's because they're trying to get over the fact I was trying to explain this with the fact that with Lesnar, it's Oh, he doesn't come in for the story. No, because he's Lesnar. He's a UFC. They essentially book him as a UFC fighter in the WWE.
Yeah, and that's the right way to do it. In my opinion. Why would you want to give this guy? He doesn't need a gimmick. Make him the UFC fighter. Make him.
And that is his gimmick.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need to. And I think that even with Cena, sometimes he has a as we say, he walks a fine line between making things good and making things laughable. He's on the right side of this in this program so far. With Lesnar, and he builds it up like a big fight. I like that they showed a lot of footage of them training. You know, a lot of footage of Brock training. It was a lot like how Rock versus Brock was done at SummerSlam 2002, which is actually one of my favorite shows because I had Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Rock v Brock as the two main events, and both of them really did well. In fact, the Rock v Brock one I like because it wasn't actually a really really long match, but it was so fast paced. It was lightning quick. And
How about when the network comes around? That's the first one we review.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good pick. I do like that show. It's very good. Yeah, like I said, a good video package. Blood, urine, vomit, ending it. You know, why not? Quite disgusting, but still.
Who needs blood, sweat, and tears when I could put urine and vomit in that?
Yeah, why not? That's the way Lesnar does things. A lot of people might say them not being around is harming. Yeah, I disagree. I think this video package was more than enough to do it for this week. They did show it twice, though. That they need to make 2 or 3 different packages if they're gonna. If either of them are not going to be on the show, and you want to rely on video packages alone, don't give us the same one week in week out. That's going to get old. Really
It'll
quick.
get stagnant. Yeah.
As good as the promo was. So talking about just going from good to downright disgusting. Well, you know, blood, urine, vomit is pretty disgusting, but still. Damien Sandow against Mark Henry.
No, just quickly. When the music hit,
I thought it was JR.
No, but it's not the fact that I thought it was JR. I thought it was going to be Sandow JR.
That's what I mean. I thought it was
and I genuinely, no. Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past WWE to do that, though. That's the thing, like...
Oh, no. Please don't do it to good old JR. Just Sandow comes in and just with a hat and just
yeah, with barbecue sauce no less.
Yeah, like probably drove down his face because WWE trying to be funny.
Yeah, trying to be funny I think is the ideal word that they're saying there. I don't care about Sandow's mental retardation. I really don't. Not enough.
I don't care about Sandow anymore.
Not even enough to see a guy like Henry beat the shit out of him, which he really didn't do. I'm gonna end Sandow with this, right? Fuck Damien Sandow. Fuck the creative who wasted my fucking time each week with this smelly bullshit, which lasted from last week. Just fuck you. Why would you give me this? Why would you waste my time? I don't want to see this. Matt, I can guarantee you don't want to see this.
No.
The listeners
I
want
want Sandow from a year ago back.
Yeah. I don't even want that. I just don't want to see him. Gone. Done. Sandow, just done.
You're done with Sandow?
No. Just done, absolutely.
Right, Sandow off.
Sandow.
Like if they basically went, you know what, we've had enough. We'll give you Sandow from a year and a half ago.
No.
Like you remember that Sandow that was feuding with Cody over the Money in the Bank? We'll give him that. We'll give him back.
No. Done.
You're done.
It's burned into my mind. Smelly bullshit is still smelly. That's the way it is.
Okay.
So it's just enough. Like enough of this WWE. It's just. And I know they're patting themselves on the back, thinking it's good.
We did another comedy segment.
Oh God, man, come on! I know Sandow is a guy that he isn't stupid. He must be looking at this and thinking, "Well, I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation." How that guy must sleep at night? Really? Come on. When he's looking at promo packages like Lesnar and Cena being a real competitive fight, and he's stuck there dressing up his people each week, and like as we said last week, his insults don't even have any sort of weight to them because the guy's acting as if he has a mental deficiency. Like, what is the point? I don't get it. Apparently,
he turns up as a customs officer on SmackDown.
Oh, fuck's sake! What
to take Sin Cara away? So who beats Sandow on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So. This whole segment, including Mark Henry just giving him the world's strongest slam and beating him, was probably about 60 seconds long.
As I've got here, yay! Mark Henry's back. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I could have spent.
I cannot contain my joy.
Yeah, I posed this to you, Matt. Okay? Because I've already agreed with this statement. I'm going to pose it to you. If you had spent that 60 seconds scratching your butt crack and smelling what's underneath, would that have been a better use of your time?
I think so too.
Yes. It would have been less smelly bullshit.
It
So,
would have been less smelly bullshit if I actually scratched out my arse crack and sniffed it.
yeah, there you go. So, guys, leave a comment if you think the same. I mean, I just don't understand how anyone can find this entertaining at this point. It's sad. I just don't. It's just stupid.
It's the fact that he was in like a genuine match. You know, he was in the Battle Royal for the Intercontinental title. And it's like, yes, he's in a match, a proper. No, he's dressed up as an old timer because they were in Florida.
Yeah, it's just. Oh my god. Moving on from Damien Sandow. I feel like there's nowhere we can go without smelly bullshit, because the smelly bullshit twins being Damien Sandow. Who's the other one? Adam Rose, and he's backstage alongside
the Mirror.
Yeah, the Oculus Mirror, which apparently was a good movie, but they decided to have Adam Rose be the one to.
Was it a good movie?
Apparently, Oculus got good reviews.
I've never heard of it.
I had never seen it myself.
Wasn't that a WWE film that they did that didn't have any WWE guys in it?
Yeah. Hence why probably it was pretty good.
Fair
enough. So yeah, essentially he looks into the mirror and he sees himself as a lawyer, gets all scared, and that's essentially the segment. There's no punchline here. There's nothing here.
Just like, ooh, I was 11, and then they just jump away happily ever after, and it's just like, oh, fuck off.
See, I can actually put I've actually been there in his shoes. I've looked through a similar mirror. It's called my television, and I saw this fucking segment. So there we go. Okay.
Do you know the worst thing is like I'm still craving for the day where they're just like, we're giving up on Adam Rose. You're going back to Leo Kruger.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just please just be the deranged hunter one last time.
Imagine if he looked into the mirror and he saw Leo Kruger. Wouldn't that have been cool?
That'd been good.
That would have been cool.
Like that.
Yeah.
And then I'd just like smash the mirror and just let Leo Kruger come out and kill Adam Rose.
Yes, that's it. In a very bloody segment, shall we say.
Yes.
It's just you guys might be thinking, oh man, this show got really bad, really quick, and it's because of these two segments. It nosedived really, really fast, and it was bad to begin with anyway. But moving on from Adam Rose and all that other garbage, Ambrose here against Del Rio. Funny enough, one of his last Raw match, Del Rio.
That's it. It was actually quite odd, just like. Because I watched Raw, I watched this part of Raw yesterday, and I'm just like, it's quite odd to think that he's gone.
Yeah. It's like whenever.
Unfortunately, it's got that terrible sting. Because then I'm just like, I remember there's another time where I watched something and it was odd to know that he was gone. Ultimate Warrior.
Oh no, the feels, man, the feels. Why you do this to me? Oh, good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, this match it was good. I did like this one. It was quite a contest between these two guys. It was refreshing to see Del Rio wrestle someone new because he's been wrestling a lot of the same guys. But as we know, that's not exactly going to last for very long anyway. I
really enjoyed that like inverted superplex sort of thing.
That was a good spot, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was a lovely spot.
And I've seen that moves used before and not look as devastating as that one did.
Yeah.
And I think ironically, it's because they botched it a little, funny enough, but still. To me, normally you're supposed to get a lot more elevation, but Ambrose hit the mat pretty quick. But still, maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. But I thought Del Rio. Going away from all the other drama that's surrounding him at the moment, he was a good opponent for Ambrose to have.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's he was a competitor.
The commentary team were on it as well. There was like, the Authority, they're putting a submission specialist against a guy who's clearly got a damaged arm. I was just like, that is pretty clever, and it is pretty good booking actually.
Yeah. And one thing you always get from Del Rio, you always get at very least a mediocre match. He's never had a horrendous match, Del Rio, of all of the stuff you can say about him. And this was good. It was a good match between these guys. It really was. It set a time because they're having a beat the clock challenge. Whoever got the win faster between Ambrose's match and Rollins' match would pick the stipulation. But he set a very lengthy time, a time of over 15 minutes. And the commentary were building this up as, you got to think Rollins is going to win this match under 15 minutes. And
that's it. It's
a sad day when you look back at matches with Bret Hart having hour-long time limits, and they think 15 minutes is a very long match. It's just a it's a change, shall we say?
Yeah. It's definitely a step away. It's been. Oh, do you know what? I'd love another 60-minute Iron Man.
Yeah, between two really good guys.
Yeah, I don't want another Cena Orton one.
Yes, yeah. Don't give them ideas and without giving the specifics, okay, Matt? Because we could end up with some more.
If you could book right today with who you've got today, who would you have in a 60-minute Iron Man?
Who's on the roster today.
Yes.
So I can't pick Daniel Bryan, which is a shame. He would be an instant pick. It wouldn't be Reigns because.
Okay, we'll allow Bryan. He's on the roster. He's just out through injury.
Okay, Bryan, yep. Without a doubt. You have to have someone that goes with him pretty well. 60 man. If I want a good spectacle, one that's to build up, probably. I'll go for. That's hard. I'm itching between Wyatt or between three: Wyatt, Rollins, or Cesaro. Probably Cesaro. Yeah. I'll go Bryan Cesaro.
Daniel Bryan Cesaro in a 60-minute. Oh.
Yeah. I think that's what I go for. It's not a marquee match, right? But it's a match that I would pay good money to see. A 60-minute match between those two guys. Yeah, I would eat that up. What about you? Is there anyone else?
I would sort of go like Wyatt Reigns.
I don't think Reigns is ready. I don't think you can pull off.
I didn't say like next Monday we're having an Iron.
Oh yeah, okay. In the future.
But, I can sort of agree with not ready yet, but. Do you know what? I really wish if they'd actually turned around and went, I am like the stipulation for Ambrose and Rollins. That'd have been quite nice.
What, the Iron Man match? Yeah, those two could do a really good Iron Man match, I'd say.
Rather than the current stipulation.
Yeah, good. They won't do it to him because an hour is way too long and they don't believe him. But I reckon you should do it. I reckon that would be good fun. Moving forward, anyway. That was a good question there, Matt. Well done. You win question of the week.
Yeah.
Pat on your head.
Post in the comments.
Yes. We've got a lot. You guys have got a lot of stuff to post down there.
But then I was also toying with mine. I was sort of like, do I include NXT?
Oh yeah, Sami Zayn.
I'd love an Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn half-hour Iron Man.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd give him a full 60-minute, but a half-hour Iron Man would be amazing.
Yeah. I would want to go for Zayn Cesaro Iron Man.
Yeah.
Do that again. That would be awesome.
Just like takeover all over again.
Yeah, I love it. That'd be awesome. Moving on. Anyway, so Rusev wrestled Sin Cara. Sorry.
During the break.
Yeah. So apparently this match happened in its entirety on the app. Exclusive. They say exclusive. Matt, what's the meaning of the word exclusive?
As in you can't get it anywhere else?
Exactly. So they show us the match on air. What's the point? It's saying it was exclusive.
I know. They've done this before as well.
They actually did it a lot in this show. I noticed every time.
There was like one. It's just like because it was during I was stuck in the Iron Man mode now. The last man standing match at the beginning. I was like, bang! Where'd that chair come from? Oh, when the chair that was set up during the break, only seen on the WWE. Oh God, go away! Yeah. Please stop.
Yeah. I would like someone to buy a dictionary, give it to Michael Cole, and show him the meaning of the word exclusive, because it definitely isn't what that was. You know.
Well, speaking of definitions, what's a flag match?
I think it's where you put the other person's flag on the other person's turnbuckle. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're going to find out at SummerSlam.
It's just this whole, like, they're going to face each other in a flag match. It's like, I have no idea what this flag match is.
Yeah. We're going to find out. At least it's different.
So confused, and it's not going to be good. I literally have a terrifying fear. It's like, first one to raise their flag wins. Oh! And it's just like, they've just got two, like, flag poles, and, like, the Russian in one side and the American in the other. It's like
no, I've got it. It's a last flag standing match. You have to put your flag in the thing, and the other person has to knock it over before it gets to a 10 count. I don't know.
Like a wrestling style, capture the flag.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, why not?
We'll break out the old NXT gauntlet that they ran in the first season.
God, no. Oh, God. So if anyone realizes, obviously you know who won this match. Do you really need me to tell you? Rusev demolished.
Sin Cara beat Rusev.
Yeah. What we got now? Rusev beat Sin Cara. Ate him, I think is probably the better word. Lana cuts her usual stuff. There's nothing really of note. What she says, it's all relatively the same. Unfortunately, she hasn't really.
Yeah.
She's good at delivering that promo, but she's delivered that promo for the last 3 months. That's the issue.
Yeah, I'm done with that promo.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's mix it up. I'm going to sing Happy Birthday in Russian. Please don't. I wish you wouldn't. She's singing.
It doesn't make me hate you, it just makes me not want to watch you. I think that's probably the thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, this brings out Swagger, and Coulter obviously alongside him. Coulter says, no wonder Russian men drink so much vodka to blur out their women's nagging, essentially. That's what he said. Ha 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 ha. He's borderlines on sexism a little bit here, Coulter.
You know, the worst thing is the fact that they're like, finally, Swagger and Coulter have come and saved this section. I was wrong.
No.
The worst part is like, he fights for it, and it's just like these generic stock photos. It's like, look at this man manager. Look at this woman working at a hospital, like stolen from a website somewhere.
It reminds me of the pictures that you find when it's like the hospital one. If you go to like a hospital page, you always have like a perfect picture of someone doing their job. It just reminds me of something exactly like that.
Here I am, filling in a form.
Yeah. I just thought,
it's like, isn't it in like Family Guy or something, where they're making this joke, and it's like, we're college students, but we're having our lesson outside. And it's just, it was that sort of picture. It's like, it was awful.
It was.
It's like, I'm a Hispanic man in a hard hat, but I'm wearing a tie, so you can tell I'm management. Oh, God. He has a wife and 2 kids. You probably don't know that for sure. Yeah. He probably doesn't.
Yeah. It's just funny, because like we can tell stock photos. I'm sure the rest of the world can. Come on. So Coulter, obviously, as you're saying there, he's saying, these people, we're fighting for these people who are working like all these jobs, and the working man, to give a shout out to Austin and his podcast, the Working Man's Podcast.
We'll pass for the Working Man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't listen to his podcast so much anymore, but it's still good stuff.
Hey, I've given up. I'm more Jericho and JR.
Yeah, same here.
I'm busting out the J's.
So I think they're running out of ideas. I think the reason why they did this is because this rivalry has gone past the point where they know how to book it. So now they're just filling in the time.
They're sort of just like, please, SummerSlam cannot come faster.
Yeah, and they can't go for a triple with these guys. They might be thinking, we might as well make it a 3-match series, maybe not have a conclusive ending or something along those lines. No, they need to end it at SummerSlam. That's the conclusive ending. Any further, and this is going to get... It's not bad at the moment in terms of...
Well, this is the thing. You have Mania, and then you build... Then you have a 6-month program to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
To SummerSlam. Then you have a 6-month program to Mania.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way you should do it, personally.
So, what comes after SummerSlam?
You got like the Hell in a Cell TLCs, that sort of stuff now.
Yeah, so. I don't think we need anything after to carry on. I think once SummerSlam's done, like... I want sort of Wyatt to win, and then that's it with him and Jericho, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything else like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you'll still have Cena and Brock, because it's the whole championship thing, but...
Yeah, but I mean, that's the first match of their rivalry, so I get that. But these matches have already happened, and I thought that they should have saved it for SummerSlam, personally. But because they haven't, it needs to end at SummerSlam. That needs to be the point. It's a very lackluster promo. That's pretty much the best thing I can say for it.
And to describe a lackluster, I think that describes the next match perfectly.
Yeah. Just before we get to that, though, it didn't look for a while that Rusev was going to attack Coulter until he decided, now I'm not going to do it. For all the stuff that they said against each other.
Lana was like, no, we the people. And then they just walk off. And it's like...
But can you imagine...
I will admit, when they were doing the whole... Everyone stand with me, and then it just shows the entire crowd. It's like, shit, everyone actually stood up.
Yeah. The crowd at some point are still into this, and that's the reason why I say it's not at that point yet where it's dead. It's still not. It's still got stuff left in it, but it's getting to that point. They need to finish at SummerSlam. But I thought, why don't you make this somewhat interesting? Why don't you put Coulter in the Accolade just for a little while? Don't have to hurt the guy, obviously. Just put him in the Accolade. Imagine the heat you would get, for putting Coulter in there.
Definitely. I don't think JBL could handle it.
Yeah, he would
JBL
explode.
would literally blow a gasket.
Yeah. Not still, he'll blow a gasket, but not to the extent that he did with the horrendous nature of how El Torito's tail was ripped off. But
No,
still.
no. The horrendous nature in which JTG was set on fire.
I just saw a man get set on fire.
This compares nothing to this. I just saw a man on fire. Shut up.
I think he
It
probably
wasn't JTG. It was MVP, wasn't it?
oh, MVP. Yeah, it was MVP.
Something. Letter.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, as you were saying, nice segue to a match that should have been amazing. It should have been amazing.
It had so much potential.
Yeah. Cesaro against Ziggler. Those two names, you think, wow, these two guys can go.
Wow, match of the night.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Miz is at ringside, being all Hollywood and shit.
Oh, I've got my lemon herbal tea because my throat hurts.
The Ziggler gets the win in what is an extremely quick match. It's over way quick.
Would this be a job?
Yeah, this is a job.
Would you say Cesaro just jobbed to Ziggler?
Yeah, wow. We'd never think we'd say stuff like that. Cesaro jobbing to Ziggler, but...
Cesaro jobbing, just in general.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, he's fallen by the wayside, man. I'm hoping that, hopefully, they've got a plan for him after SummerSlam, but... Still, Ziggler's going to be going against Miz for the title. Ziggler is on a 3-match win streak. He's like him and Heath Slater at the moment, for some reason, doing great. But this naturally means this naturally means that Ziggler, because he's on a 3-match streak, is going to lose at SummerSlam. So
don't say that.
He is. He's going to lose.
Because I want Barrett to come back and have to fight Ziggler for the title.
Oh man, what a match that would be! That would be good, but it's not going to happen. But
shut up! Don't spoil my fun.
So Miz and Ziggler have a stare off, but then Miz is scared of having his moneymaker hurt. So
Moneymaker
in 9.99.
$9.99
moneymaker. There you go. Maybe that's how much his moneymaker's worth. $9.99.
Ah, $9.99. Nothing more than that.
The secret code in WWE. There we go. We just unlocked it.
It's the pin. It's the pin to all of WWE's accounts. $9.99.
So next segment. A little bit annoying for me. Paige is interviewed by AJ. Interviewed about AJ, not by AJ. That was
okay.
Basically, there was a segment on SmackDown where AJ was thrown off the stage. She's playing the fake face stuff, even though she's blatantly heel. I just like to just say you want to kick her ass. Just do it. That would be.
That's it. Not just like I just want to wish you get better to my best friend.
That's a fantastic Paige. Impersonation. Well done. I give you a slow clap for that one.
The nice part is that's my same impression for what a lovely chocolate man. Oh, I gotta watch White Chicks again.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, you're talking about Paige. She is probably as white as you can get.
Yeah, she is probably the whitest chick.
Yeah. But the Paige character on NXT was never one to mince words, so I just don't. This just seems very odd for her. But...
That's it. It's like finally we're getting heel Paige, but not the right one.
Oh my god, I just seen what's coming up next. Oh my god. Okay. I apologise, guys. This is an especially ranty episode of Raw, but I think you guys can kind of understand where we're going with a lot of this.
Especially
we do explain.
Considering what we've been saying for the past few weeks of what we don't want.
Yeah. So, we've said that we wanted Goldust and Stardust to stop their promos and get in the ring. They did that, ladies and gentlemen. They are back in the ring, and they're back to find whatever the crap they were talking about, Cosmic Key and all that garbage. They've got a ton of tag teams that they can go against. They've got a lot of very experienced
opponents.
And the
one tag team we didn't want them facing.
Ryback's. I once joked, right, that they could make a DVD out of the matches these guys have had. At the moment, they can make a compilation. They can make a fucking anthology.
Do you know what? This is
matches.
You could even get a before and after Stardust.
Yeah, exactly. It's got like a 2-part set now between these guys. Oh my goodness. Of all the possibilities, couldn't they have thought of someone else for these guys to fight?
No. Don't be stupid.
I wanted to fight anyone. Just pair up 2 random guys. It would have been better than Ryback's.
Yeah, like apparently I've been hearing that Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil have been teaming up.
Yeah, just do them. That's even though obviously Heath Slater had something to do, but still, I just don't understand their thinking behind this. Did they honestly think, we have to look around the entire locker room and we've got all these superstars? Who do we pick? Let's do Ryback's again because why not?
Because they're not doing anything.
Yeah. Now, it honestly doesn't matter if these guys have pulled out a 5-star match. They didn't, but it wouldn't have mattered because of the amount of times they just wrestled these guys. It just makes no sense now. Goldust and Stardust win, and the one thing I said before, what
in
I
the
would like them to
same
do,
fashion.
yeah, they didn't use their bizarre nature to get like ahead of them. They didn't freak out their opponents to then beat them on the meet. They did nothing of that. They may as well just been wrestling as Cody Rhodes until the end of the match when they start getting sexual with each other, Goldust and Stardust.
Yeah.
But
Well, no, the thing is, it's just like it was also like this is the exact same sort of match because oh look, Goldust is getting beaten up, and here comes Stardust to take the win.
yeah, it's just oh come on. If I honestly think that like if they come out next week, right, and it's Goldust and Stardust against Ryback again, I just don't know. I just this they
I don't think I could watch it.
no. It's like playing Wheel of Fortune, but the guy just keeps saying the same thing over and over again, even though the answer is quite simple. It's just, just stupid. Or the reason I was thinking of that, by the way, Wheel of Fortune, is because all I can think of was that South Park segment with the, where they chop the chicken's head off and he just falls over. I was thinking, are they doing that backstage? Is it always just falls all on Rybacks, or does they just keep doing Rybacks? Or that's what I was thinking.
That's it.
So this is the Kane segment that we were talking about next. So backstage, Steph and Triple H are talking to each other. He decides to theatrically take off his mask and hand it to Steph. I ask you, what was the point in this? Is he going to become a monster again? I thought having him put on the mask was making him the monster. Has anyone ever seen Kane as a monster heel in the last couple of years? Because it certainly doesn't seem that way to me. I think that him as a character is still broken back from when he was handing out candy canes to people. That's my opinion.
Well, See No Evil 2 is coming out soon.
Yeah, the word is apparently he's going to be coming back as the See No Evil character. That's what some people are saying.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. But, I mean, Kane's career is going to be going on for too much longer anyway. So, I mean, when we talk about damage being done to wrestlers, you have to look at their longevity. Kane doesn't have that long. If they decide to pull this shit with someone like Roman Reigns, that's very damaging. But no. And the shit they've done to Damien Sandow, that's downright lobotomizing the guy. So, still. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. He may make him debut to kind of give him more stuff to do with the movie, because he is doing See No Evil 2. But we'll see where this goes from here. It's nothing that's going to be monumentally entertaining. I can guarantee you that. So. Jericho against Luke Harper.
Save us, Y2J.
Save us, please. No. It was another mediocre stuff here, but at least this match has a meaning. Apparently, that he beat Rowan on SmackDown, so now he's not allowed to be at ringside. And during this match, which didn't go very long, Bray comes in and attacks Jericho, which leads to Jericho getting the DQ victory.
Which means no Harper.
Yeah. So this is basically going to be exactly the same as the last match they had, in which case Jericho won. I guess if you were going to have Wyatt win at SummerSlam, I'd much rather him do it clean like he did to Bryan earlier on in the year. That's the way that I would do it. I mean, you look at that match between him and Bryan at Royal Rumble right at the beginning of the year. Yeah. Fantastic match, and Wyatt himself told the other two to go away so he can beat Bryan clean, and he did, and it was a great match. So having that do that to Jericho is good stuff. He did, however, sell the Umaga thumb move, the one where he like stabs their throat with the thumb. Yeah. I hope that Bray adds that into his arsenal, because more stuff is just going to go well for him.
Because then it would justify what's with the thumb.
Yeah, I mean, he's had that all the way through.
I've never understood that. It's just like, even in NXT, it's like he has the thumb that's clad in leather, and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. This whole segment, though, in my opinion, all in all, very pedestrian. It never really reached any heights for me.
No.
And makes Bray seem a little bit silly, really, to get his own man DQ'd, but still. The Matadores guy, because I don't really care about his name. Why would I?
Diego.
Oh wow.
The other one's missing somewhere.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I think he tore his ACL or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
Yeah, against Fandango. WWE, you are having a very shocking show so far this week, aren't you?
Especially considering it's Diego with Summer Rae, Layla, and Hornswoggle.
No, it's Hornswoggle came out with Fandango. You're getting it wrong. Yeah. Fandango, his new dance partner is apparently Hornswoggle. Oh, balls. You're remembering now, I can tell.
Yeah.
So apparently Sandow's mental retardation is seeping like a cruel mist across the locker room, and apparently Fandango was there. and this is what happened. He decided that he was going to pick Hornswoggle, who I imagine maybe is very attractive among the little people market. Maybe he's a good dancer. I don't know. What am I doing? What am I talking about?
Shut up.
Just yeah, I think that the creative, right? Just thinking of this, right? They should have a long look at themselves and think: do people actually want to see this? And if one of them says yes, fire them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my notes is Fandango versus Diego. Like I give a shit.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I've got nothing else.
Maybe I'm being too harsh. Don't fire them. Send them to a mental institution and get them checked for Sandoism. Okay, which is the mental issue going on with Sandow at the moment, because it's
believing you were in a strong position when not.
Yes, exactly. So this match is over really before it starts. It's boring bullshit that I couldn't care about. It is poor. It's so bad. WWE are having a shocking show. And unfortunately, there is worse. Well, not worse. It's just bad stuff yet to come. They were having a shocker. They really were. In fact, the majority of good stuff on the show was pretty much done at this point. But still,
No.
Oh yeah, the final part had some good of it, but still.
I was going to say we had a promo.
Oh yes, with Wyatt as well. But moving on to Renee Young. She had she was backstage with Orton. He says that everyone wants to see what happened last week with Reigns, and he shows them his little beating. That's a little. It was quite a savage beating, I'll give him that. And he just talks his usual garbage for SummerSlam. It's really missable.
I'm such a dangerous person.
Yeah.
I'm dangerous. It's like, oh, what does it mean to Kane's lost his mask? Why should I care?
Yeah.
I'm Randy Orton. I'm more dangerous than Kane, more sinister than Kane. Oh, shut up.
Yeah. Well, I could agree with him. You don't have to be that sinister to be worse than Kane at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, it's usual Orton stuff. That's the case. It is missable. WWE do a lot of segments like this, often with Renee Young, which is not really her fault. You know, she's just there to conduct the interview.
It's almost as bad as. Do you remember the time where whenever Randy would get the mic, my name is Randy Orton?
Yeah, it's just a big.
We don't need
gap.
this anymore.
Yeah. Oh man, no. I'm glad we don't have that anymore. That would be very. It would induce a lot of sleep, shall we say? And they weren't having a good show as it was. Moving forward, so like I said, that is very pedestrian. You couldn't miss that at all. You wouldn't miss anything. Bo Dallas against R-Truth. I'm scratching my head as the further the show goes on. I'm scratching and hoping. I'm clawing that something is worth watching on this show. Something good.
Still not.
Alas, this garbage was not that stuff. It was garbage more. Yeah. This match was another quick match. Dallas wins, but at this point I couldn't care less.
The cheat win, and that was about it.
That was it. It was the same Dallas stuff, except for the fact he's avenging his loss against R-Truth. It's just it makes me wonder why they did what they did, making Dallas lose last week.
The Stratisfaction to the outside was good.
Yeah,
I refuse to call it the running Bo dog.
We call it the Stratisfaction. Bo, it's time to go.
It is the Stratisfaction.
This time she's in Botrol, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go
okay. Stratisfaction. It is the Stratisfaction, though, I guess, isn't it? So they had a commentary segment where they plugged the network yet again. There was a few of these. I just made a note of this one because
was this the one where like JBL was like holding up the $9.99? It's like fuck off. Just like hold it here. It'd be even better because it's hiding Michael Cole's face. $9.99. Oh, stop JBL. He's broken.
Someone fix JBL quickly because he's in need of dire repair. But like, it highlighted. This is actually probably one of the better segments to show how desperate they are to get this to work, to the point that it's just horrendous to watch. It really is. I can't really explain. It's just I don't understand why they do this. People know that the networks exist. They may as well just be showing a giant advertisement in the top right of the corner with network stuff going on, because that's as much as they reference it. But it's just like, why do they feel the need to do this? The $9.99 stuff, just random. The network went heel. That's what I'm saying.
But we got saved.
Saved, yes, we did. We did get saved in a promo that had no reference to the number 9 and the network. Wyatt came back and he finally gave us something worth watching. He had it was a fleeting visit from Wyatt, but it was good stuff. Good stuff from Wyatt.
Yeah.
And yes, Wyatt, you saved us. Thank you very much. It was something worth watching on this show. I can't exactly say, like with all Wyatt segments, I don't exactly want to say a lot of stuff because it's mainly riddles and everything, but it's still delivered very, very well. So, recommend that. They aired the same promo of Lesnar versus Cena. After this is where I thought to myself, why are they doing it twice on the same show? I hope they have another one set up. And to another good moment on the show, so that's good. Seth Rollins against Heath Slater. Now this is obviously supposed to be RVD, but they switched with Slater to basically give Rollins the easy win, as you imagine. One thing I noticed, Slater is downright orange. He is putting
He's
that...
as orange as his hair. It's like terrible to be like like something that's sort of like our friend Sally mentioned. It's like to be ginger and heavily tanned.
Yeah.
It's an ugly look.
he is rocking the tan, shall we say? You know, one man band. He's rocking the tan. Do you like that? No?
Yes. Very well done. Well played.
Yeah, fair, thank you. Slater, anyway, he refuses to leave the ring after Rollins basically tells him to get the fuck out. But he fights him. Slater is showing a little bit of... he's been more face since the rest of 3MB have left. He's been more face than heel, I should say.
Slater's going to slate.
Slater's going to slate, isn't it? And he's on a win streak. That's right. Dean Ambrose shows up and provides some actual entertainment this week. He's probably the most entertaining part, actually, of Raw.
The other thing I thought was quite odd. I thought, why throw the contract on the floor? Why not pour soda on the contract?
Yeah. So yeah, as you say there, he fucks around. He basically dicks around with the money in the bank briefcase. He tears up the contract.
I did quite like it because there's just a moment he's just like, "What? I'm just out here, I'm just gonna like watch how you do." Oh, is that the contract? Yoink.
Yeah. He's got a comedy look to him, doesn't he? Sometimes Ambrose.
I think it's just that crazy deranged look.
Yeah.
And I think somehow in any situation it can look terrifying or funny.
Yeah. One thing I did notice though, because as you say there, he poured Coke into the briefcase. He put some popcorn inside of it. I'm telling you right now, Ambrose knows what he's doing. That shit will get sticky quick. Have you ever been to a cinema and your feet sticking on the floor? Man, that's gonna drive Rollins insane. You know. Of course.
He's not going to be able to put anything in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And like JBL's hat in the way and if everything, just
hard stuff for Rollins. Anyway, this leaves. So obviously this is Rollins. He leaves himself open for Slater, and this is Slater's time. He decides, which move am I going to do to beat Seth Rollins? Well, how can I win this match? Well, of course, he goes to the most devastating finishing move of WWE
history. The fact that he went
history.
through his finishes as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
So the roll-up pin. And that's what beat Rollins. The most devastating move in wrestling history. I want our first tee-shot to be a picture, like a silhouette of a guy doing a roll-up pin, and the words "most devastating finisher in history." That's what I want our first shot.
That's it.
Apart from maybe tongues on buttholes, which we used to say a long time ago, but still.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, he pins him. So obviously, Rollins does not.
Slater won the main event of Raw.
He did, and he's on was it a 2-match win streak now? I think.
Yeah.
Wow, he's won more matches than Undertaker and Triple H this year. So there you go, big stuff. So yeah, it was a good segment. It was genuinely entertaining. So thumbs up for that. The rest of the show was atrocious.
It was genuinely entertaining because Ambrose was in it.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, the parts where Ambrose were on were actually the good stuff of Raw. There was some other small good stuff, but most of it was garbage.
We just seem to have a soft spot for the deranged because Ambrose gave the good stuff. We got a good Wyatt promo.
Yeah, AJ Lee, whenever she decides to go full crazy, is always entertaining. So
that's about it. We must have a soft spot for the crazy.
That's it.
But we don't like Sandow, so I don't know.
Well, there's a difference between crazy and retarded. Okay, so I'm calling him retarded because just stupid. Anyway, so WWE are stating that the Lesnar-Cena match from the 2002 Extreme Rules Network is going to be on the WWE Network, and it's exclusive. No, it's not. People have bought the DVD, therefore it's not exclusive. They can view it on another format.
I could probably find it on YouTube.
Like, it's not exclusive, WWE. Stop saying the word exclusive. You do not know what it means.
Yeah.
Okay? Jesus, like people would have bought the DVD. It was obviously available in other means, you know. So it's not exclusive footage. There are other places apart from the network that you can watch it. That doesn't mean it's
Exclusive. I could have Sky Plused it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just stupid.
Granted, there's no reason why it would still be on my DVR 2 years later, but I could have.
You could have done it, yeah, by all means. Just ridiculous. They need to learn
It's exclusive. Don't forget.
WWE, well, it's not just WWE, wrestling promoter talk. They would say all these fancy words to try and get their product over in a more relative degree. But come on, WWE, come on. The final segment of the night, anyway, for the second week in a row, Stephanie and Brie end the program.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this bit.
More $9.99 bollocks at the end of this show. More
bad Brie acting.
Yes, Brie. I gave her props 2 weeks ago for delivering a good promo. It's steadily declined since that point, and it was pretty bad here as well. Brie shows Steph footage of her arrest. It's supposed to be a contract signing, by the way, for their match at SummerSlam. And both the Bellas are out there. But Brie shows Steph footage of her arrest, says that she would embarrass Stephanie in front of the universe. She name drops the likes of Vicky Guerrero, Big Show, and the Rhodes Brothers. Convenient skips CM Punk, but don't worry, the crowd reminded us all of that.
Yeah, the crowd will remind everyone that they left him out.
Which I think is funny, by the way. Whenever they chant CM Punk at AJ, it's like they honestly think that it's going to help AJ in some mean. No, if you actually are fans of CM Punk and you want to see AJ succeed, chant AJ Lee.
Yeah.
There you go. It's not rocket scientists.
That's it.
Jesus.
Don't cheer her husband who's not there.
Yeah, so all it's going to make them want to do is remove her from Raw. There you go. Bombshell dropped on you guys. There you go. So yeah, Brie's part of here was pretty poor. We're gonna say that just outright. But Steph is the lifeblood of this rivalry. She really is. You take Steph away from this, it's nothing. But it's just good that she is on all cylinders at the moment. She hits back. Much better mic work. She says that she's going to tear Brie's heart out, that she's embarrassed to even be in front of her, to be some
That's it. You're
reality
going to embarrass
star.
me. I'm embarrassed to be in this ring with you.
Yeah, that was such a good
actually, no. My favourite bit.
Go on.
You list all these names, all these great names in wrestling. Gee, I'm sure they must be proud to be defended by someone like you.
Yes, that was a good line.
I was like, oh.
Whoever wrote this stuff, I can guarantee Steph had some say in what was written here, because it was good. It was good stuff. The segment ends, however, with Stephanie decided that she's going to give both the Bellas a pedigree. A very safe pedigree, but a pedigree nonetheless, and it was well delivered.
A very good pedigree. It looked very good, though.
Yeah. And she looks nimble, at very least, Steph. So you've got to give her that. But I label it is a good segment, I will say that. But it's another segment that without Steph carrying the flag, it would be shit. And I'm going to say that categorically.
Definitely.
She is the lifeblood of that rivalry.
Yeah. I mean, I did quite like the whole sort of like, oh, whack, and there's just like Triple H who just like shoves the table and Brie Bella like all the way into the corner and just sits on the table. Just like, you get ready to watch this. Look, and that's your sister.
Yeah, it was. He was in Uber troll mode this week, wasn't he? Triple troll. He's enjoying that triple troll gimmick anyway, but still, it was alright end to end the show. However, the show this week overall is poor, very very poor. It was very missable. You could miss this entire show and you wouldn't have missed that much, and that's the God's honest part of it.
It didn't add to any current stories. It just
teetered on.
Especially considering it's like Ambrose is announced his stipulation at SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I disagree with because it's boring.
Yeah, was it a lumberjack match?
Yeah, how boring is that?
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a stupid thing. Why not do it a cage match so you know that he can't run away or get any of the other
falls
guys
count anywhere.
Yeah, something like that, like a brawl.
Oh, you're going to run away? That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I can
you.
chase you. Yeah, exactly.
Or CZW Warzone match.
Death match. Yeah.
Death match.
PG, Matt. PG, okay.
Bitch. Death match. Only available on the WWE Network.
Exclusive.
If you sign up.
Yeah, for $9.99.
To prove your age, you get to see a CW death match.
Oh, dear. So,
if anyone doesn't know, go on YouTube. Actually, look for Dean Ambrose's. They're pretty good.
Yeah, we're giving a lot of homework to our guys to know, but that's it. You guys love watching.
Comment, post, and watch wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. But you would agree with me, Matt. Missable Raw, poor Raw, a waste of time.
Yes.
Bad
That's
week.
3 hours of my life gone.
Yeah. And as the show went on, at parts you thought that it might pick up, and it was basically trolling you the entire way through.
That's
like
it.
I think the worst thing was
TJ? No.
Like they gave you Ziggler against Cesaro, and you think, wow,
that could have been
20-minute match.
That could have been 15, 20 minutes of gold.
Yeah, give it to me. I'm ready for this. And they just kind of shut the door, and they kept shutting the door on us on this entire thing.
Yeah. You like the look of this? No.
So yeah, poor Raw. I can't. Is next week Raw the last one to SummerSlam? Whenever we say this, we always get it wrong. I
believe so.
Well, if it is, obviously we'll do our predictions and stuff like that, and hopefully we know that they've got more stock in their go-home shows to a pay-per-view. We expect them to be a lot better. This was a mid-monther. You can tell they booked it like a mid-monther. They didn't want to give you anything on this show, which is a shame. Superstar Spotlight. That's the end of our Raw review. Not a very good one for Raw this week. So, Superstar Spotlight. We're going to cover Alberto Del Rio, and this won't be a long one, guys, because to be honest, he only spent 3 years in WWE.
Yeah, I was covering a 3-year WWE career.
Yeah,
not too difficult.
Yeah, we'll cover some of his early stuff, but to be honest, we haven't seen much of it, so we can't exactly cover it that well. But as we know, Alberto Del Rio comes from a very good wrestling lineage, shall we say, as a lot of big stars in Mexico do. You know, they do love following the family lines and getting behind those people. He started his career with AAA, who, by the way, are trying to move into America at the moment. And then he went on to work with CMLL in Mexico. Obviously, AAA was in Mexico as well. He made quite a name for himself. He became a very good face in that company. He, as we said, he came from a good wrestling dynasty. He had the look. He grew the technique. Up. Yeah, he had the good technique, and one thing even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Del Rio, and I will explain why, his technique was always pretty good, pretty solid, and he had the the ego, the determination to become a massive star. WWE had offered him a contract before he signed. I think it was just like a couple of months before he did, or a year, or maybe half a year before he signed with them. But he decided he had a better deal with CMLL, which he may end up going back to something like AAA or CMML. But he did sign with WWE eventually. He made his debut in 2010. He did not have to go through any developmental. So back then it was Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, they just brought him straight out in a big fancy car.
Yeah, exactly. He refurbished the JBL gimmick. Obviously with the Mexican twist of being Mexican aristocracy. He also brought in Ricardo Rodriguez as part of his gimmick, his personal ring announcer. Mm-hmm. He went on to wrestle Rey Mysterio, had a very long rivalry with him, and he also beat Matt Hardy in Matt Hardy's last WWE appearance. Before Matt decided to
give up.
Yeah, well, not so much give up, but he had a few personal issues, shall we say, leading out of his time at WWE. He did have a very long rivalry with Mysterio. He often always came out the better with his matches with Mysterio, to be honest.
With that little chihuahua.
Yeah, chihuahua. He mentored Brodus Clay in what I like to call the game show NXT back in the days where, as you say, they were doing obstacle courses. I can remember a Husky Harris, we all know him now as Bray Wyatt, doing obstacle courses in NXT. I can
remember that. That was terrible.
But yeah, it was during that time. He then, after Brodus Clay was eliminated, he made him his bodyguard. He went on then to win the biggest Royal Rumble in WWE history, the 40-man Royal Rumble. That was also the same Royal Rumble where Booker T and Diesel made their big comebacks. You know, where Matt Striker, I'm marking out, bro. Where basically he got in trouble for marking out too hard, Matt Striker, and he got fired. He earned a shot against Edge at WrestleMania. He wrestled Edge and lost, but that was Edge's last ever match. So there's two people very early on in his career that had their last WWE appearance, and Edge obviously his last wrestling appearance. He lost again to Christian for the title, even though it was his destiny to win said belt.
Yep.
He went over to run over the Big Show in his car. Had the rivalry there where he injured Big Show, and then had the whole rivalry around that. He won the Money in the Bank ladder match. And cashed in on then the uber hot CM Punk. This is the CM Punk that was coming off the Money in the Bank Uber match that he had with John Cena, that huge storyline that made him the big star.
Oh yeah.
And he actually cashed in and beat Punk literally less than a month after he came back. So that was the interesting part there. He didn't hold it on very long. He lost it to Cena, then he won it back. Then CM Punk finally ended up with the belt again. It basically changed hands between a lot of them.
That's it, and so began Punk's long title reign.
I think so. I think that's where it started. So
It must have been.
or somewhere close to there, at very least.
Yeah. I remember seeing. This was at when WWE the UK tour. They do like one in Butlins, Minehead, which I went to once, and it was that was when Punk and Del Rio were feuding.
Oh, and it was around about that time, I guess, where the titles were swapping hands around that time.
Let me have a look. I have the ticket right here.
Oh wow! There we go. He's looking into...
How good is that? Oh, there we go. So Saturday, 12th of November, 2011.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that sounds about right. But moving on anyway, so obviously he was in the title picture, and then he was pretty much out of the title picture very quickly. While he was in the title picture, he wasn't champion for very long during that time. He went on to feud with Sheamus and Orton. And then he eventually turned face, as we know. He beat a heel Big Show in a last man standing match with SmackDown, and he won the World Heavyweight title. It was actually quite a shocking title change. A lot of people saw it coming. And this brought the return of Jack Swagger in his new role, as we know him as now, as the anti-foreign American gimmick. So he came back with Zeb Coulter, and I thought it probably was the best rivalry in terms of story of Del Rio's career. I really think it was a really good storyline for him to be in.
Del Rio Swagger, yeah.
Yeah. They had a decent enough match. It could have gone on longer, but they had a decent enough match where Del Rio beat Swagger at WrestleMania 29.
That's it. It's a sort of like, it's like the American dream to be who you are. So surely by me coming here, I can live the American dream sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Now, we know this very famously. He did win at WrestleMania 29. He did not hold on to that belt for very long, because the night after, he was beaten by Dolph Ziggler, who cashed in to win the Money in the Bank. Won the belt in probably one of the most tremendous...
Biggest Raw ever.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's probably going to go down as one of the best Raws of all time. And Ziggler had his huge part to play in that. But as we know, for Ziggler, things didn't go too well. He wasn't champion for very long. He got kicked in the head by Swagger, got concussed, and as soon as he came back to action, Del Rio, they did the double turn where Ziggler went face, Del Rio went back to being heel, but Del Rio won the belt. And he was back. He got the championship again. He split with Ricardo Rodriguez. Ricardo Rodriguez teamed with RVD. As we know, they had the mini rivalry of which for Del Rio's title. Del Rio did come out the better of that rivalry. But John Cena had just returned from injury, and John Cena smelt the heavyweight title and decided, you know what, I'll have that. And he did beat Del Rio straight away and won the title.
That's it.
That was the very last reign that Del Rio ever had.
And funnily enough, that was the very last. That led to the very last reign of where the heavyweight title was still just the heavyweight title.
Exactly, because they went straight from then to the unification, and which we'll have now. Now he had a long spell of very mediocre feuds. We were wrestling a lot of the same guys, Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, a lot of guys that were just wrestling the same and over again. And rumors of his contract expiring started to come out, as we did reference. And then, as we know this week, he was released, and he's gone. He's not part of the company anymore. And we think that's very quick. Superstar Spotlight, and you'd be damn right, it is a very quick one, but as you say, he wasn't in the company for very long, and for a large spell at the end of his time with WWE, they kind of knew it, and they didn't book him as anything special. He was involved in a lot of just random matches.
Filler matches,
yeah. My overall look at Del Rio is that, considering all the accolades, you think about it, right? WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, Money in the Bank winner, Royal Rumble winner, main evented 2 WrestleManias. I think with all the accolades he had, he never really became anything too memorable, and I think that's a big waste. He was a big wasted potential. He never got over at all as a face or a heel, in my opinion, to the potential that his accolades should have given him. And you look at it now, a lot of the time that they wasted now on Del Rio, they could have given to someone else like Ziggler. They could have given all that to Ziggler at that time, but they chose not to. And most of the memorable moments that surround Del Rio are moments where he gets beaten, funny enough, like against CM Punk.
Yeah, oddly enough, I clearly remember the party that Del Rio threw for the heavyweight title, which Edge interrupted, and I was like, I don't remember that for Del Rio. I remember that for Edge.
Yeah, exactly. You remember other people. I mean, some people might say, well, then he's done his job because he's the heel there. You want the face stuff. But no, sometimes heels can have, and he was face for a while as well. He could have had huge, memorable moments. It never happened because he never really clicked with the crowd. There was how many times did Del Rio come out, cut a promo, and no one gave a shit? No one gave any sort of response to what he was saying. Too many times that happened. And it wasn't exactly like he wasn't charismatic. He was well spoken. He knew how to deliver a promo. He was very good in the ring. Just something wasn't there. Just didn't click. Yeah. It's like Daniel Bryan. It was organic. It clicked with him and the crowd, and it happened. Sometimes it does. With Del Rio, it didn't, and it was. Came to be, I think, short. His WWE tenure, I think that is his ultimate downfall, that he never really got with the crowd. Never to the extent that his accomplishments in the company should have got him to that point anyway. Would you agree with that at all?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I can't think of any memorable Del Rio moments.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that, like, when I saw them live, I remember seeing Rodriguez in Superman, like, the usual, like, play up to the crowds on a house show sort of thing. Just like, look, I just pantsed Rodriguez, and he's running around in Superman pants. I remember that, but that's Rodriguez. That's not Del Rio.
A lot of people say as well that whenever he got over Del Rio, it was because of Rodriguez. And as soon as they took Rodriguez and the cars, they took a lot of the extravagance out of Del Rio, especially towards the end of his career. There was just nothing there.
That's it. Like, at one point, he would just turn up with a flag, and that was about it.
And then
it didn't even matter, because I know they had the little Mexican flags, like, perched on top of the ring post.
Yeah.
And that was during his feud with Swagger, with the whole We the People.
Yeah.
And that carried on for a while, and then suddenly just like, nah, no more little flags. Oh, but I want the little... It's like the last bit of sort of big grandeur that he had was like his little flags.
Yeah.
And they took that away from him. It's like, nah. Do you remember where you used to have that falling gold pyro? Yeah, you don't get that no more.
Yeah, he used to have like a different car each week. He used to have the falling gold pyro. He used to have all the flags. He used to have his personal ring announcer, and little by little, it all whittled away, didn't it? You could see over the years, they took more stuff away, and but that's because they honestly, I firmly believe that they thought any stock that they had in their guy was just slowly slipping away, and they didn't believe in him anymore, and I think that was the point. And as we say here, as we said at the start of the show, that's where his story ends with WWE. It's not where his story ends, because he's going to go to Mexico, wrestle, and make a ton of cash. He's going to be fine. Honestly, don't feel sorry for Del Rio.
And he won't even have to wrestle like every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, no one feels sorry for Del Rio. He's probably going to be better off for himself anyway. But yeah, that's Del Rio. He's got a lot of accomplishments. Like I said, look, WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion, Money in the Bank winner, Royal Rumble winner. That's a lot of good accomplishments.
Biggest Royal Rumble ever.
Yeah, but it all kind of falls by the wayside because he never really clicked. He never really got to that point. Is there anything else you want to say about Del Rio? Anything about the wrestling world this week that you want to elaborate on?
No, I can't really think of much.
No, I think we're
really struggling.
Well, we've done a hefty monster podcast for our fans this week. And we do it because we really appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. As we said, we saw that the subscriber count hit 70 today. We are very, very happy that it's got to that point. Thank you guys. It really does. And we've got a few people that commented on the last episode. Thank you a lot for that. Triple H will bury you last. We'll make sure to that. Because he will bury us all.
Claim us all and bury one by one.
You can follow us on Twitter at TalkWrestlePod, and you can, if you're new to the podcast, subscribe to the channel. That way you can you won't miss any episodes. Every now and then we do get random. We just post a little extra in the middle of the week. It may not even be with Matt or myself. It might be me with, I did one with my wife. It might be Matt with an opinion of his that he's deciding he wants to do. Myself, I've got an opinion. Every now and then we do an extra one. You guys can catch that. We also, I'm just going to say it now, we're more than likely going to review every pay-per-view during the week as well. So
it's definitely getting that way.
It's getting that way. I think I don't think we've ever missed a pay-per-view since we started. So. It's good stuff, really. But apart from that, guys, if you want to leave us any questions, the Twitter's the best place, but you can leave a comment as well. $9.99, $99.99. How much is the network, Matt, again?
It's exclusive. It's only available at WWE.com. The $9.99.
$99.99. Moneymaker.
$99.99 Moneymaker.
So we'll leave you with that. Guys, I hope you have a great week. I hope you don't shiver in your beds at the amount of times that 999 was spoken.
I know I will.
Yeah, we've had issues, so but we'll catch you again next week. We'll have plenty of stuff. We'll have our fail of the week, which I know you guys are loving there as well. And who knows, I may even look back through the old stuff and maybe get a we were wrong, we were down wrong segment, because I know you guys like that as well. It was really weird listening back to those old podcasts. It really was, but it's good stuff anyway. But thank you guys. We won't procrastinate any longer. Have a great week, and we'll catch you again soon.
That's it. We'll see you around.
All right, bye bye now.
Bye bye.